We are in Lagos. We're going to spend the next 3 days exploring all its beautiful beaches by foot and by another unique means of transportation, and we're even going to go on a 3.5-hour dolphin watching tour. Let's see what Lagos has in store for us. Lagos is a coastal city in Portugal that's become very popular over the last 5 to 10 years. It's known as a bit of a party city, but what it is more well known for is its beautiful beaches. It's situated as part of the Algarve, which is one of the most beautiful coastlines here in Europe, and Lagos is no exception, with many beautiful beaches along the coastline with some picturesque cliffside views. We're so excited to see everything Lagos has to offer. Good morning guys, from our first day here in Lagos, Portugal, not Nigeria. We are just wandering around the marina type area now, looking for something to get for breakfast. We've both only got one thing on our mind, Portuguese tarts, but we will settle for any type of baked goods. And then we're going to head and explore some of the beautiful beaches here in Lagos.
Really good. Not as good as the ones that we had in Lisbon because they were fresh out of the oven and we got to sprinkle cinnamon on top. But this is really good.
Now that breakfast is secured, it's time to head to the beach. Guys, we've made it here to our first beach of the trip in Lagos. Pretty incredible views from up here on the cliff as you walk down. The beach is called Praia da Pinhao. I apologise if I have said that incorrectly, but these views alone have made it worth it. Now, I've heard that this beach is a bit of a hit or miss because sometimes the tide can be quite far in and there's not any beach, or sometimes it can be very full of seaweed as well, which again means there's not really anywhere to sit. But it looks like we've come at the perfect time because there is plenty of sand. The water looks absolutely beautiful and I cannot wait to enjoy it. Now, to get down to this beach, you have to take quite a few stairs and they're pretty steep, so just something to be mindful of as well if you have mobility issues. But we're walking down now and it is super hot today in Lagos. We're very excited to get in the water.
Guys, because we're traveling full time out of a carry-on suitcase, we don't have very much room, so we purchased these little travel towels. I'm pretty sure they're an extra large. That's what we're going to be lying on today. It's a bit sad, isn't it?
Okay guys, I'm about to hop in the water here. It's definitely very seaweedy, but oh my god, it is so refreshing. It's so nice being back at the beach after quite a few weeks on the road in the heat. Our last time we would have swum would have probably been Santorini, I believe, which was a long time ago. Back in my happy place. This beach is known for its orange cliffs, its beautiful view from up the top, crystal clear waters, and its beautiful little coves. We've absolutely loved our time at this beach, but it's time to head to the next one.
Now, I did dip my feet in the water. I'm not a massive swimmer at the beach. It was bloody freezing. I don't know if that's because the last beach we went to was in Greece, where it was like jumping into a bath, but it was really, really cold.
Beautiful. Now, the beautiful thing about Lagos is there's not just one or two beaches that everyone crowds to. There are beaches along the entire coastline. Some of them are just walking distance from the old town, like this little cove we just went to. Others are a little bit further away, so you can hop on a bike, hop on a bus, any form of transport and get to some of those further away ones. And they're all different as well. The one we just went to was a nice little peaceful cove, but there are some other ones which are bigger, more traditional sandy beaches. So it's a very beautiful place with plenty of options, and it is known as a bit of a party town, but we've seen plenty of families here as well. We're en route to our next beach, and now Google Maps will tell you to backtrack all the way back to the road and then do a big loop around, which will be about 1.5 kilometers, but there is a walking trail that has been kind of carved out here along the coast, so we're going to give this a go and hopefully end up at beach number 2.
Now, because these beaches are usually cliffside, most if not all, they have a lot of stairs that you have to go down, so they're not super accessible. You work up a bit of a sweat. We have made it to the next beach, Praia Dona Ana, I believe is what it's called, and it's a bit more of a like a traditional beach in that there's a restaurant, there are toilets, there are sunbeds for hire, €20 for the day, so unfortunately we cannot pay for that, but it is very tempting. It is so hot. I would love to get out of the sun and just lounge around in a sun chair. We are now walking back to our accommodation after maybe 1 or 2 too many hours in the sun. But in just a sec, we'll be walking underneath this archway that I believe is part of the walls that used to surround the city of Lagos. There it is. What? I think there are multiple areas where these walls still stand, which is pretty cool.
Guys, if there's one thing I've gained from being in Europe so long, and in a bad way, it's a soft drink addiction. I never drink anything like this at home, and I can't go a day. I think it's because they're cold and refreshing, and you don't want to buy water because you can get it from the tap, so you buy a cold soft drink.
Now, speaking of our accommodation, we think they did us a little bit dirty because online it says you can pay by card, and we pay for everything on card because we've got very limited cash. We got to our accommodation yesterday and he said they do cash only, and kind of acted as though there was something wrong with his FPOS machine.
Please explain.
But on all the reviews in the accommodation, a lot of people complain about it only being cash, so I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, we've come to our first ATM of the trip. And it seems as though there is a maximum amount of money that you can withdraw being less than 200 or being 200 euro. We need to get 300 euro out. So we're going to find a good ATM because we're so cheap, we refuse to pay the withdrawal fee twice. Okay, good news everybody, we found an ATM that allowed us to withdraw 300 euro. Something interesting happened though. Now obviously when you travel, the ATM will kind of ask you the question of whether you want to use the conversion rate within the ATM or with the ATM's bank, or if you just like charge it in the local currency, which is 300 euro. They were quoting, when converted to Australian, the 300 euro would end up being 586 Australian dollars, which is like a totally different conversion rate to what we expected.
Bad, it's not that bad.
Yeah. So we were like, no. And so we said to convert it, to charge it in euro to our card. And what came out of our account was 517 Australian dollars, including the fee that you obviously have to pay when you're using a ATM. We saved over $70, and it's just something so easy that people would just be like, oh, I don't know. I didn't know. Stace had to do it. And it would have cost us an extra $70.
I think it's similar as well if you use your card out. Sometimes it'll ask if you want to be charged in, say, euro, or if you want it to be converted and charged in AUD. What I've read, and from our experience, we've always clicked to charge the card in euro because we do have a card that has no international fees. So we always select euro, and that's what I've read is you should always select to be charged in the local currency because the rate your card will provide is generally better than the rate the bank will provide on the machine. Guys, we're just walking through the old town, which is actually where we're staying, which is a very good location, just so you know. But something we've noticed about Lagos is it's very multicultural. We've seen Indian restaurants, Nepalese restaurants, Thai restaurants, there are like Indian supermarkets, like there is just so much cultural influence here, which we've not seen for a while in our journey.
Good morning guys, it is currently 9:15 in the morning and we're just strolling through the old town here in Lagos because we're on our way to a pretty exciting activity. But it's pretty interesting how quiet it is. You know, like it's 9:15, it's not super early, and the old town silent. So definitely recommend if you're coming to Lagos and want to explore the old town, best time to do it is in the morning because I think a lot of people, they're pretty slow to rise here in Lagos.
That's right guys, today we are hitting up the water from a different angle than we did yesterday. Rather than heading to the beaches, we are heading out on the open oceans on a boat to do a dolphin watching and swimming tour. We could not be more excited. If you are interested in looking at the tour we've booked, we'll put a link in the description below. There are so many different tours you can do in Lagos. We had a hard time picking. We've included some links to some of the ones we looked at in our description if you're interested. But again, like I said, I've also included the link to the one we are doing and we're super excited. We're surfing dolphins. Now it's time to swim in this beautiful water. Guys, we just got off our 3.5 hour boat tour and we had the most amazing time. We were so lucky to see dolphins. I think we travelled for about 30 minutes to an hour before we came across the dolphins. We were sick. I thought there were about 3. Rosh said she thought she saw way more, but it was just absolutely incredible. They kept coming up to the boat. Now, the great thing about this tour we did that we booked through Get Your Guide is that they had a marine biologist on board. So she was feeding us all the information while we were watching the dolphins, including a lot of important information about how the city of Lagos works to protect the dolphins. So, for example, only 3 boats are allowed to be around a pod of dolphins at a time. And you're also, there's kind of a set time limit in terms of how long you are allowed to sit with the dolphins. So you can't just sit there all day. The other thing she mentioned is that as you go up and see the dolphins, you kind of turn away from them and let them come to you. So we noticed the dolphins were super playful, kind of just traveling along, and they'd swim away and then they'd come back and just swim at the front of the boat, tease us a little bit, they'd kind of poke their heads up and then they'd dive really deep and disappear, which was super cool.
Guys, doing a tour like that is always a bit risky, I suppose, because you don't know what you're going to see. There's always a risk that you might not see anything, and they tell you that. It's just the game. So Stace and I were really excited and nervous because we've never seen dolphins in the wild before until today. We've done a boat tour similar to this before in Hawaii last year. That was a great day, but we only saw the tail of a whale along with like other fish and turtles. But if you'd like to see that video, and it's a pretty good one if I do say so myself, we'll put it up here. But I said to Stace, I think that is my favourite moment of the entire trip. We've been travelling for a little over 2 months and today was my highlight. Just watching the dolphins like playfully glide right at the front of the boat, and then they just kind of disappear because they go deep underwater and then they pop out meters ahead. It is amazing. And then what better way to finish off a viewing party of some dolphins than by heading feet first, or as Stace did, butt first into the water via a slide.
Now, the one final positive with this tour is that they guarantee you'll see dolphins. You might be wondering how. They don't feed the dolphins, they don't do anything like that. They use their eyes, but they guarantee it because if you don't see a dolphin on your tour, they will give you a voucher to come back on another day, and if you're not able to come back on another day, I believe they'll give you your money back. So it's really, you can't lose with this experience. Now, if you would like to book the tour we did, again, we'll leave the link in the description below. We really loved it, so we hope if you ever come to Lagos, you might consider doing it as well. Good morning, guys. We are here for our last day in Lagos. We had an amazing day yesterday and now it's time to explore a bit more of Lagos on land as well as some of the beaches. We've decided to do things a bit differently this morning, and instead of walking to our first beach, we are going to take what is called the Lagos tourist train. Now, it is not an actual train, it is kind of an on-land type train. Now, the Lagos tourist train is essentially equivalent to your sightseeing hop-on, hop-off bus, except that it's not a bus. It is this kind of novelty-looking on-land train that can carry up to 56 people, and it does about an hour loop of Lagos, hitting up some of the key spots in town as well as the beaches. So it is a perfect way to get your bearings of Lagos, explore some of the top sites, or just use it as a means to get around. Now, there's not a lot of transport here in Lagos. There are public buses, however, they don't necessarily reach everywhere you want to go, and other than that, you either need to drive or walk. So not a lot of options, but the tourist train is the perfect option for us this morning. As I mentioned, one lap on the hop-on, hop-off tourist train takes about an hour, and that is €4 per person. Otherwise, if you'd like to hop on and hop off freely all day, that is €5.50 per person. So it's not too bad a deal. We're going to take it to our first beach of the day, and then we might hop on later and just have a tour of Lagos. Now, we are waiting here at the Marina stop, which is stop number 1. It is a bit hard to find. There's not a lot of information online about the stops and where to find them. So the Marina stop, if you find the pedestrian bridge that has the yellow lines on the outside, walk across that away from the main road to the boat side of the marina, and just a short walk forward from that bridge you will find the sign. So it's pretty hard to find if you don't see any instructions. I luckily found a review with some instructions on how to find it, but there you go. Okay guys, we've just got off the tourist train. Now, when we paid for our tickets, we did buy the all-day tickets, so €5.50 each. The train driver let us know that the tram cannot currently go to stop number 3, which was where we were wanting to go. They are kind of redoing the whole area, so because of that the roads are closed off. But he let us know if we go to stop 4, it's about a 1.3 kilometre walk to where we want to get to. So this looks to be actually the start of the trail, so I think this is the car park. If you are wanting to drive to get to this beach, you do need to park here anyway, so it's not too inconvenient. From our first day in Lagos when we went to Dona Ana beach, stop number 4 is actually right there, so if you are looking to go to that beach, that's an option as well. Now when we looked up public bus options to get to the beach we're going to, there was an option, but it was going to still be a 1.8 or 1.9 kilometre walk, so we've gained 500 metres by taking the tourist train. We'll take everything we can get in this heat.
We have made our way down to Ponta da Piedade. We went down a lot of stairs, hundreds of stairs, to come to this area with a lot of different spectacular cliff sides and rocky formations. There's not technically a beach here, so we're not going to be swimming, but it is very nice to look at. A lot of canoes in the water. I think that's the way to see this area, so you can go through and see all the caves, is with a canoe tour or a little boat tour.
Guys, as Ross mentioned, we've come to Ponta da Piedade, and as we mentioned earlier, the tourist tram normally will drop you a lot closer. Unfortunately, as you will be able to see, there is a lot of construction work going on, so a lot of the roads are closed, which means you do have to walk over a kilometre to get here. Even though you can't swim here, it's definitely worth checking out for the incredible views, and I do believe there are some boat tours that do depart from here, smaller boats, so you can look into that as well as an option to explore the area. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's pretty hot, so we're gonna go find somewhere to swim. Guys, we've come to Praia da Camilo here for a swim. This beach is situated about halfway between Dona Ana beach and Ponta da Piedade. So it's on the way. If you are doing the walk, you can stop or stop on the way back. But a very beautiful beach. Seems to be the common theme here in Portugal that there's a lot of seaweed. So let us know, is that a seasonal thing? Is it a time of day thing? We're very curious. Might not be at Disney, but we've got our Disney 100 icy balls. Okay guys, we've now across the 2 days hit up 4 different spots along the coastline here in Lagos, and they were all very beautiful. We've done a lot of walking, they were all explored by foot. I think it's time for us now to explore Lagos in a bit more of a relaxing way on the tourist train. Guys, it is later today. We got off the tourist train. We really enjoyed it. I think for €5.50 for the full day, you really can't go wrong. I think it's really reasonably priced. Like I said, it's a hop on, hop off, so if you do pay for the full day ticket, you can get on and off as many times as you'd like. We just kind of hopped off once and then hopped back on and just did kind of the tour around. It's really cool here in Lagos. They do have a boardwalk that literally goes all the way along the coast, so if you're feeling super adventurous, you can hike along the coast to all the different beaches. But if you're feeling a bit like us and wanting to rest your legs, you can hop on the tourist train and it'll drop you off at so many different beach points along the coast. And another positive with the tourist train is they did also have a few spots for wheelchairs to come on as well. So if you are a wheelchair user, you can use the tourist train, and that might be a great way to get around and see Lagos.
And one of the most popular activities to do here in Lagos is to rent a kayak and go and explore the beaches that way. After visiting Ponta da Piedade, I can definitely see why, because if you don't go down all those stairs, there's not really a way to access it, and even if you do that, you don't really get in the water. So that would be a great way to explore those caves and that area. If you're interested in a kayak tour, I'll pop a few links down below. We didn't get to it on this trip, but it's something that I would definitely recommend, and I have heard that they are very good.
And that is it for our 3 days here in Lagos. We've had an absolutely incredible time. The highlight has to be seeing those dolphins on our boat tour. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're traveling for 12 months and we'd really appreciate it as we're on our road to 1,000 subscribers. Now we set off tomorrow to have a bit of a break with some family, but there's still plenty of videos to come, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.